Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. Hi, this is Elizabeth Mendenhall, and I'm here with Ford Mendenhall, and we're here for another session of Remax Live. And we are super excited to have our guest this morning, who is Russ Cofano, the Senior Vice President of Industry Relations for Move, and also oversees the activities with Realtor.com. Many of you may have known Russ before. He was the CEO of the Missouri Association of Realtors and advanced with his wisdom and knowledge to this great position to help us in the industry. There's lots of changes right now going on with Move and also Realtor.com, and so we wanted to highlight Russ and give him a chance to talk about the product and things that are happening with your website and your listings and syndication and how we can best serve our consumers and clients. So welcome, Russ.
Thank you, Elizabeth and Ford. Thanks for having me this morning. It's great to see you guys.
Welcome. Thank you very much.
So Ford, go ahead and start it off. We kind of have some questions for Russ, but we want to remind everybody that if you have any questions at any time, you can tweet them to Remax Live, and we'll try to get them addressed on the air.
We got one thing this morning. If the very first people at all three offices, Tulsa, Jeff City, and Remax Boone Realty here in Columbia, first person to send questions to hashtag Remax Live tweets from all three offices this morning wins a prize. So look forward to your questions. And Russ, tell us about your move from Missouri Association of Realtors to Move Incorporated and what's going on.
Yeah, so I am about 10 months into my role with Move as Senior Vice President of Industry Relations, and got the opportunity to come to Move and head up industry relations, which basically means we look at the industry as making up sort of four segments, if you will. So we look at MLSs, which we're very, very dependent upon in providing us real estate data. We've had a great relationship with MLSs across the country for almost 20 years, and it's what gives us the most accurate, timely, and comprehensive data compared to any other real estate portal. And so they're a very, very important constituency that we work with on a daily basis. We work with realtor associations across the country, so state and local associations, and helping them provide value to their members through Realtor.com products and Move products. We also work with brokerage companies because brokerage companies now are more and more taking control of their listings and having a voice as to where their listings are going. And then we also work with the NAR. We have we are Realtor.com. We borrow the name from the Realtor Association. It's not our name. It's the industry's name. And so we spend a lot of time in making sure that partnership with the NAR is strong and productive. And we're aligned and we're working to better the industry. So I've got a team of about 20 folks, and some of those folks are what we call industry relations people, and they again work with associations, MLSs, the NAR, brokerage companies, and then I manage the events team. We put on about 300 events a year. Some of those are sales events, some of those are industry events, so it's a very, very, very busy organization. We've always got stuff going on.
Oh, fantastic! What is and tell us about your main role in the company and what you're trying to move forward in the industry right now.
Sure. So I look at my role as really making sure that the industry understands the brand Realtor.com and what we stand for, and that we're held in high regard. So we've been around for about 18, 19 years, and the company has, it was initially Home Store and Move, and now we've got these new owners called News Corp, and the industry needs to know that throughout all those name changes and ownership changes, the general principle of the company, which is to help the industry connect with consumers at a high level before consumers are ready to really engage with a realtor to help them on a personal level. That we are the industry's website for that. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of talk, with our competitors and what they're doing today, and we believe that because of the principles that we abide by in our partnership with the NAR, we should be the industry's voice in that regard.
Fantastic. And as far as that, and obviously we've talked a lot about your competitors recently, so tell us about the tools and services of Move that the agents should utilize and make happen in the industry versus the competitors and stuff.
Well, so again, we have our lead generation tools. So we have our showcase product. I know many of your agents showcase their listings, which is basically enhancing their listings to have exclusive leads from those listings come to them. We also have our connection for co-brokerage product, which is basically lead generation for those listings that are not claimed by listing agents, and so agents are able to get leads from people that are looking at listings that again are not exclusively sent to the listing agent. So those are our two main lead generation products, but we also have a host of professional software tools. Move, a lot of people don't know, but Move operates and owns Top Producer. It's probably the most well-known CRM system in the industry, been around for many years, and it's not, I guess we say, it's not your mom's CRM. It's taken a lot of changes over the years, and people that maybe used it 10 years ago, they'd be very surprised to see what Top Producer does today. We also have a product called 5 Street, which is a lead aggregation product, which is really cool because you can take leads no matter where you get them from and bring them into one lead generation application. So you can take our leads and leads from our competitors and websites, and so it's all coming in through one source. That's called 5 Street. And probably the most, I would say, the most used tool that we have is called Market Snapshot. Market Snapshot is real. I know that some of your folks probably use it. Market Snapshot is a really, really cool drip marketing campaign technology where primarily for sellers, but you can use it for buyers as well. You sign up your sellers and they get an email once a month with a snapshot of the market area that they're interested in. Let's say they're thinking about selling, so it's somebody who is contemplating a sale maybe 6 or 9 months or 12 months down the road. You want to keep in touch with them. You want to make sure they know what's going on with the market. These market snapshots automatically send them information. It's information about the markets. The information comes from the MLS, so the agent doesn't have to do anything. They know when the email is sent out. They know when the seller or prospective seller clicks on it, what they do with it, and it's all branded to the agent. It's just a really, really great tool, and probably our highly sought after tool in areas that use it. And I checked last night, and I know that we have Market Snapshot connectivity in Columbia. I didn't look in Jeff City or Tulsa for your offices there, but my guess is Tulsa has it as well, and I certainly can check on Jeff City. But I would highly recommend the folks, and I can send you guys a link to send out. Market Snapshot is just it's a way to stay in front of people with really, really great information without having to do anything. And I know agents are busy, and those touch points are really productive.
Fantastic. We'll definitely have to check out that and Market Snapshot and the 5 Street that you're talking about for sure. What do you guys most want to learn about the business this year up at Move and pass on to the agents?
Well, I'll tell you, the thing that is probably highest on my screen right now, because I'm working with the National Association of Realtors on this project, is agent profiles, ratings, and reviews, and we're entering a really, really interesting area for our business. Search has been focused on properties. So for since our website came up, and obviously our competitors, everybody focuses on real estate search. We're going to move, I think, rather quickly from search. Search for property is always going to be an important thing. But we're also going to move to search for realtors, discovering not just finding a realtor, but finding the right realtor for the consumer. And this idea of ratings and reviews. Many people know that we launched this this product called Agent Match. It was a very innovative product. It didn't actually go the way the company wanted it to go because the industry didn't like it. It was a way to match consumers with agents, but we learned a lot from that process. And with the National Association of Realtors, we will be rolling out a new agent ratings and reviews process, search process, compare process with our profiles by the end of the year. And I can tell you from where we are right now, I'm really excited about the process. It's going to be very consumer friendly, which we have to make sure that whatever we do is meeting the consumer needs, but it's also going to be very industry friendly. And some of our competitors don't really care about the industry. We do. We are Realtor.com. And so it's really important that we match consumers' interests and the industry's interests to make sure that this way of discovering the right realtor for consumers and consumers to match themselves up with realtors is done in a very responsible way for both, again, consumers and the industry. So it's but we are learning. We're at the very, very beginning point of this process, and it's very, I read a really interesting article over the weekend about how millennials, how their perspective of trust is much different than the perspective of trust from their parents. And they did some graphing, and I'd be happy to share this article with you. It was in the Washington Post. Really interesting. But we have this incredible wave of new home buyers coming up through the ranks. The 18 to 32-year-olds that are just about ready to really enter the home buying market, and they're much more likely to trust crowds that they don't know versus somebody that they meet face to face. It's a really intriguing issue, and when you look at that, and presuming that that is true, and I believe it is to be true, this whole idea of crowd-based ratings and reviews is going to be essential to how those folks pick a realtor going forward. So it's a fascinating area, and we are learning every day.
Russ, you and I have talked about this, obviously, and when you mention the fact that this is in partnership with the National Association of Realtors, some people kind of cringe, and they're like, well, who's getting into this business, and why is this happening? There is no doubt. I think you and I did a survey, and we found 20 different companies at minimum that are already doing rankings of agents. They're each trying to kind of fight for the place where they can be credible in the marketplace.
Right.
I think we're hoping that the goal of the project that Realtor.com is doing is that it is realtor friendly, that we can also educate the consumers at the same time on things that they should know about a realtor that make a realtor be the right choice for them. And so I think it's an exciting opportunity, and one to not be afraid of, because they're going to find the information about you one way or another, but it's one to embrace and also use to the best to your advantage, because other realtors won't.
Absolutely. I would ask one thing, that I tell realtors whenever I meet with them is, go Google yourself and put in, Ford Mendenhall Realtor or Elizabeth Mendenhall Realtor in a Google search. I mean, we should all Google ourselves anyway these days, just because you never know what's out there about ourselves. And you do that, and I never say I guarantee this, but in almost every cases, I did this live the other day, and I actually Googled somebody's name, and they were the #1 organic search result on Google. And it's because their Realtor.com profile was. And we have this tremendous SEO juice, as we call it, because of how we use the term realtor and the folks back in our technology department. And so the bottom line is, consumers are going to Google you. It's just a fact. When somebody's meeting you and assessing whether they want to work with you, they're going to go home and they're going to say, "Let me find out about this person," and they're going to Google, Mary Realtor, real estate agent in Columbia, and 9 times out of 10, that search is going to come up with their Realtor.com profile in the top 5 Google organic results. They're going to click on it, and the question is, what are they going to see? And we want them to see a really great exposure of that realtor that will include ratings and reviews. And when I say will include them, it's the thought process right now. It will be an opt-in, opt-out, so it's not going to be a mandatory thing. But the consumers are going to expect them. Because if you don't have them, they're going to say, well, why not? Everybody else does. And so we want that to be the the industry standard, if you will, that portrays realtors in a very professional light, especially compared to non-realtors, but does it in a way that consumers get it value from.
Russ, I also, I think you nailed it in the head too about what you were talking about the millennials and them not being afraid of unknown crowds. I think we've seen that in the last, 5-10 years here on the websites too. They're not afraid to sign up on the websites. They'll get that going. They know how to process the information from the different websites that they sign up for in the drip marketing campaign, and that's been a big deal. And you nailed it. They're just not afraid of it.
Right. So. Yeah, it is such a this next wave of home buyers is really going to, I think, influence this industry. I mean, we already have a massive amount of change going on in this industry, and when the millennials really hit, I mean, they were the #1 segment of home buyers last year. People don't really know that. They hear all these things about millennials can't buy homes and this and that. The #1 segment of home buyers nationally last year was the millennials. That will just increase every year as millennials get employed, are able to deal with some of their student loan debt, because loan regulations become a little bit more manageable. They're going to enter the market in force, and they will turn this industry upside down because they just don't do things like the other generations have done. And so the neat thing is that we know they're coming, we know what they're like, and we can prepare for them as an industry to make sure that we're servicing them.
Well, and I also, Russ, I want to touch on something that you said about SEO optimization. It's one of the #1 questions that I know Ford gets asked is, how do I make sure more people find me online? And I went to a seminar, and I tell you, I think it's one of the best tips that I got. They showed 2 agents. One spent approximately about $200 to $300 a month with the company doing SEO. The other one did not do anything. What that agent did is they made sure that they went out to every site possible where they could fill out their profile. Pinterest, LinkedIn, Facebook, About Me. They used social bios, which is now rolled into the new Realtor.com profile. They were on Realtor.com. They were on Zillow. They were on Remax. That agent used the power of the other major sites, and that was how they determined that they were found. You could find that person 100 times more than the person who paid for the SEO optimization, because you're never going to be able to optimize yourself as well as Facebook will, or as well as Realtor.com will. And it was just such kind of a tipping point and a change of, how I thought of really educating an agent on, if you want to be found, use the big sites that are out there to increase your presence, and that's going to get you more presence online and in the marketplace.
Elizabeth, you couldn't be more true. I spend a lot of time in Facebook groups and sort of listening to what agents say, and the bottom line is that for a very few agents who really are going to spend a lot of time and a lot of effort on SEO and trying to get their own sites up on organic searches, it might work, but your advice is so true for the masses, for the 95% of the agents that really their expertise is in helping consumers buy and sell homes. Trying to become an SEO expert is, in my opinion, a waste of money. There's great opportunities. I think, again, one takeaway I'm going to tell all of the people that might be watching this at Remax this morning or in the future is go to Realtor.com. We have brand new profiles. They were just launched in the fall. They're way different than they were before. And claim and complete your profile, and you have spent, and it's free. There's no cost to it, right? And even if you are not a customer of ours, if you don't spend any money with us, you get a link on your listings for free that will take consumers to your profile, and consumers can get to you again for free from your profile, from your link on your listings. So it's a no-cost way to get incredible SEO juice in a profile that is just going to get more and more traction. So and we're not the only one, and there's others. And I suggest, to your point, agents go out and find credible sources that they want to be associated with. and do that versus spending money on these SEO programs that, for most people, it's just going to be a waste of money.
What as far as on the consumer side of the millennials things, we've got a bunch of new up and coming young agents at all three offices.
Great.
Besides filling out all their profiles, what other best tip do you have from Move for up and coming new agents in this industry?
Well, so here's what I would say. Obviously, new agents are in the cultivation stage of their career, and everybody says, I guess I should say everybody says, a lot of agents come in and try to do everything, and the first thing I would say, and people say, well, do I need to be on Realtor.com, or do I need to be with our competitors? And the answer is maybe. In other words, online lead generation is good for some agents, but it's not good for other agents. And you really need to figure out how you want to generate your sphere and market to people. I will say that if you choose to play in the world of online lead generation, having tools like 5 Street, which is automatic lead aggregation that comes to, it works great for teams especially, but it works for individuals as well. So you can manage leads. The biggest complaint that we have, and it's an issue for us as Realtor.com, but the industry as well, is we generate thousands and thousands and thousands of leads and nobody responds to them. And it's an epidemic in the industry. And so what I would say is, if you're going to play in the online lead generation world and you're a new agent, make sure that you're willing to respond and play 24/7 real estate, because I guarantee you, just by the commitment to doing that, you will beat 95% of your competitors who, when they get an online lead, say, well, I'll get back to them in an hour. Well, again, people aren't waiting an hour to get response back. When you put it, when you, Ford or Elizabeth, you go to a website and you type in something and you want information, you want it now. And when you get it now, you're amazingly impressed by the responsiveness. So if you're not willing to do that, I would say stay out of the online lead generation game, because you won't get the returns, because if you're not responsive, people are going to go elsewhere. That's just the fact of life. And so, people say, do I need to be on Realtor.com? The answer is yes, if you're willing to play the responsive game, right? And the ones that are, kill it. The ones that aren't, they go, well, Realtor.com or Zillow or these other online, they don't work. Well, really, it's not the website's not working. It's the approach to online lead generation that's not working.
Well, and Russ, to add to that, I've seen a slide that you have in presentations, and it's important to realize that while the number of online leads continues to go up, companies find now new ways to engage a consumer. A lead becomes somebody who is interested in real estate, but also may express an interest in moving. It may express an interest in new furniture, which we know then potentially can lead to a home purchase later on. That number is exponentially rising, and you can buy more and more and more leads, but the sales aren't increasing.
Correct.
So the number of leads to the number of sales is way out of whack, so you've got to be prepared to play the numbers game.
Yep.
That's bigger than better than it ever was before, and it's not the same numbers game that it was last year, and it's going to be different, a new numbers game 3 years from now, where we're just going to see that number catapult even higher. So it's important to understand that process, like you're talking about, big time.
Right, and so what we're trying to do, Elizabeth, is we're trying to not only increase the number of leads, but quite frankly, increase the quality of the leads. We just added some new metrics to and data to our showcase leads that provide a whole host of search history, so that when an agent gets a showcase lead, they also can see the other houses that agent searched on Realtor.com before they clicked on the lead. So that gives the agent the ability to say, this agent clicked on a house that was $150,000, or 3 houses that were worth $150,000, and then when they found the $250,000 house, that's the one they asked a question on. Well, that gives that agent some information, some really important information about that lead and about the search history, that when they engage that lead, they can talk a little bit more intelligently, not in a creepy way, but in and say, well, we know that you might be looking at this range of homes, and how can I help you in that regard? And so, we're still very much at the I'll call it the crawling level of really delivering intelligent leads to agents that help them take information that we get from not only Realtor.com but from other sources about that consumer, so they can take that consumer and know whether they're just a looky-loo and really isn't really worth a lot of time for somebody who really, really wants to buy a home in the next 3 months. And the other piece is that not all leads are created equal. There are some leads that will turn into sales, but it's going to be a 2-year maturation process. So the question is, as an agent, do you really want to spend 2 years working that lead? Some agents do. Some agents have no problem working a lead for 2 years. Other agents going, you know what? If that lead is not going to close in 3 months, I don't want to work with them. So you have to really define your spectrum on how you work with leads and make sure that the lead generation source that you're getting them is giving you the type of leads that you want that works within your business.
Great. Ford and Russ, we've got about 3 more minutes to wrap up. So Ford, did you have some questions from the tweets we need to address?
We have 1 or 2 winners. We won't consider them questions, but we'll consider them winners.
Okay. Okay.
It's been
Ford, have you got a last question for Russ there?
Oh, we always end our last questions, Russ. Tell us why you love RE/MAX agents.
I love RE/MAX agents because they are the most entrepreneurial agents. I'm an entrepreneurial guy. I love people that sort of break the mold, and RE/MAX is known for its entrepreneurialism. The bottom line is that the agents that go to RE/MAX are agents that want to go out and not just be average, but as you say, we work above the crowd. I think that's what's your tagline?
Above the crowd.
Above the crowd, right? And I really respect the RE/MAX brand. You guys are killing it nationally. I know that your company respect the heck out of what you're doing in Columbia and Jeff City and Tulsa. Your agents are very lucky to have you guys as owners of that company, because just doing this is something that a lot of companies, let alone RE/MAX companies or any companies, do for their agents. And so RE/MAX, I'm a big supporter of that company.
That's great. We thank you very much for coming to us from California today, and we wish you best in your move, and we miss you in Columbia also. So thank you for everything this morning.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. And if you have any questions, we can. It's Russ Cofano at move.com, right?
It's Russ.Cofano, Cofano at move.com. Happy to answer any questions. And if the agents, I'll send you a link on Market Snapshot. You can send out to your agents, as well as a link to that article I referenced regarding millennials and trusting of crowds. And thank you for inviting me today. And good luck with all your business. And we'll hopefully get back to Columbia soon.
That'd be great. Thanks, Russ.
All right.
Take care, Russ.
Bye.